Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How are we all doing today? Let me just adjust the volume here. I've not done this for like a month. Yeah, hello all. Good to see you all. We will get started very soon. Who performed it? I've just got a playlist. Hotline Sewani, I think his name is. So it's like a colour. Right, okay, before we get started, oh, I'm stretching. Oh. Alright, good to see. Good to know, good to know. Got a few people in here today. We've got Sonic Skater, Director Darwin, Swifty E3, Lucky 7, hello. Right, so here's how this is going to go. I don't know how long this is going to take. It will go until we're done with them. So, right, I just want to address this now. It's going to be very confusing for us, I know, but I'm going to get this up now. As you can see, I've got 3 tabs open. For the sole reason, right, so this is the main post. So all these, yep, there's a lot. This was the main post where you put them. However, I did get some on my reminder posts, so we're going to have to go through them as well at some point. But we're going to be covering these ones first. And how we're going to do this is we're going to do it from bottom to top, heavy quotations, air quotations there. Basically going from the oldest to the newest, because that way I'm going through it in order, basically. And this would have been a video, but the problem is, well, it's not really a problem, it's actually a very good problem to have. The thing is that I got that many, so I was like, this video is going to be very long if I so much as just try to read all these, and I want to include them all. Now, I might end up repeating myself by accident because there will be some takes in here that kind of repeat. I'll try my best not to. But yeah, this stream could be very long or very short. I think it's going to be the latter, at least long for my stuff. So, is there anything else I need to cover before we start? I don't think so. Yeah, there's like 70 plus. There's a lot. There's a lot, Sonic Skater. Anything else I need to cover? Oh, yeah, that's another thing, right. There's one or two takes I received that didn't follow this. Unfortunately, they won't be getting read out. For obvious reasons. Because I don't know how close to the bone that's going to be TOS-wise. It's nothing personal. It is purely because I don't want to lose my channel. So, yeah, we won't be reading out the borderline non-PG ones, which I don't think there's many, if any. Yeah, Sonic Skater. Yeah. Anyway, I am stalling way too much. I want to get through this as quick as possible because I live with other people and they've got to go to bed at some point. Anyway, let's begin, shall we? So starting with Isaac Lopez Real 6335. Very first one I got. Their first take is Sonic Unleashed has the best controls for the boost gameplay out there. Generations isn't as good as many people say. Okay, where do I begin with this? Unleashed is my favourite, I will say. I prefer how Unleashed plays. That being said, I do prefer the way Unleashed handles, even if Generations does handle better. Because Generations, the way I see it, is it's a more refined version of what Unleashed did. It's the middle of the day for you, is it, Swifty? Yeah, it's like approaching 8 PM here in the UK. So, yeah, Generations, I prefer Unleashed. Generations, though, I think it's deserving of the praise it gets. Yeah, your people have to go to bed. I just got out. Yeah, time zones are funny, aren't they? Yeah, it's 8 PM over here, so probably by the time we're done, it's probably going to be about 10, maybe 11 o'clock. It all depends on how long it takes us to get through these. Second take by Isaac Lopez. Sonic X isn't that good, but for Sonic standards it is. I'm assuming you mean because Sonic X kind of came out during a time where Sonic's reputation was kind of, I wouldn't say hanging by a thread at that point, but it wasn't in a good place. So I get what you mean. Because at the time I think expectations were probably lower. Whereas now expectations not so much so. Hello, Fordo Canonization Committee. Oh, Lucky7, you're from Australia. Nice. Director Darwin, yeah, you're from a different country, yeah. You guys are probably in a better position than me. And then final take from Isaac Lopez is Labyrinth is the best stage in Sonic 1. I've not played Sonic 1 in a hot minute. Like a very, very, very long time. And I do actually think I remember kind of liking Labyrinth. I'm not quite sure. Oh, you're from Kenya. Oh, we've got people from all around the world. That's sick. I like that. Right, so thank you, Isaac Lopez, for your take there. Is that Stargaze the Pi 2414? I hope I'm saying that right. Sonic Chronicles is one of the best handheld Sonic games. Ah, okay. If I'm correct in saying that's the one BioWare made, isn't it? And I don't recall it ever being that great. I know people started to like it now and stuff. Just turned 9 PM for you in Poland. Oh, there's only an hour's difference between us, isn't there? It's not too bad. Also, Colors DS is the definitive way to play the game. I don't think you believe that. But thank you anyway. Thank you anyway. Next one is from 2IEM. I've got 2 Sonic soundtrack takes for you when I can open it again. Sonic Forces has the worst main series 3D Sonic game soundtrack, unless you count Dream Team, I guess. Dream Team's the Apple Arcade one, isn't it? I can't say I've played that one. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's got the worst, but kind of like a lot with Sonic Forces, it's kind of meh, kind of forgettable. Like, I remember Fist Bump, and I remember the edgiest song of all time, Infinite. That's kind of it with Forces soundtrack. I won't lie. I'm pretty sure there's not much else that really stands out for me. I like Fist Bump. I mean, at first I didn't really like it. But it's grown on me, definitely. And I enjoy Infinite's theme unironically, believe it or not. I don't know how. But you listen to the lyrics and you just think, what in the 3 days grace is this? No, it's yeah, they're the only 2 that kind of stand out. I think the rest are just a bit that's just me. Dream Team's more of a side game than, if anything. Yeah, I mean, all I know is that it's an Apple Arcade game and that's it. Better than Sonic Rush, though. I think we're going to get to that soon. Swiftly, you just finished Forces. I don't remember like any of the soundtrack. Yeah, it's kind of like the same for me. I can name 2 songs and that's it. Question: will we be covering any of the ones on the hot takes too? Mine. If we get through these quick enough, yeah. But if not, I'll probably make a follow-up video covering the ones I didn't cover. But I'm gonna have to retrace my steps to figure out which ones I did and didn't cover. I mean, if we get time, sure, yeah. It's Me Hayden says... Wait, no, I've just skipped one, haven't I? I'm an idiot. Sorry to you, I am. There has not been one great Sonic game soundtrack in the 2020s aside from Frontiers. I mean, Shadow Gens' soundtrack was good. Would I consider it great? I don't know. Crossworlds, I know people have their opinions on Crossworlds. You know, some people love it, some people hate the EDM. I find Crossworlds' soundtrack is a little bit of a mixed bag. But that's just my opinion. Anyway. Sonic Hot Takes 4 confirmed. There's a good chance there will be a 4th one, yes. Sonic 06 Dusty Desert, one of the best OST, fight me. Well, actually, you've kind of got a point, to be fair. 06's soundtrack is... I like 06's soundtrack. Off topic, who has the best Sonic OST playlist among us? Probably me. I don't know. Feel free to share your playlists in the chat. see who wins. Right, now we're on to It's Me Hayden 2707. Sonic Prime Season 3 is really good and criminally overhated. I've never seen Sonic Prime. Will I get round to watching it? Maybe. I'm not really a TV show kind of person. I don't have the attention span really for TV shows. There's like a handful of TV shows that I've watched. And I can probably name them all on one hand. Breaking Bad is in there. Best show ever made, by the way. You can fight me. I know that's not a Sonic related thing, but it is. The Walking Dead, which fell off a cliff, a proverbial cliff. I can't name you many TV shows that I've actually watched from back to front, to be honest. But yeah, TV, it's an attention span thing. But it's kind of funny. I can sit for 3 hours watching Oppenheimer, but I can't sit for 3 hours watching a TV show. It's weird. Don't ask how. I don't know how. Right, KTE3493 says, Sonic Forces wasn't bad. I'm going to keep this brief because I know I've already covered this. I'm going to keep this very brief. Sonic Forces as a game wasn't terrible. It was just, in my honest opinion, mind-numbingly boring. And I think that's where I'm like, I would rather play a bad Sonic game and laugh at it than I would play Forces. Like, on an objective, fundamental scale, Sonic Forces isn't a bad game. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's nothing outrageously special. It's just Sonic Forces. It exists. All the world's gems are mine to keep. Yeah, you can have them, mate, if you want. Actually, here's a mini hot take right here, right now. Zebrahead's version of his world is the best one. It is! I wouldn't even call that a hot take. Like, I don't hear anyone say the Crush 40 version's better. I don't. But I agree with you. That's why I read it out. Sonic Prime's Sonic voice actor streams on Twitch and YouTube. He's actually a really cool guy. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say, though, that... And I don't think it was necessarily his fault, but a lot of people say, like, I think the direction just wasn't great. I've always thought Forces wasn't bad, but I just wish it was longer. That's one of the many problems I have with Sonic Forces. You can complete it in one setting. Like, easy. You can complete it in one sitting. I have. Multiple times. Pose Fever 67. I am not saying the meme. I am not doing it. Nice try, though. Kitsunami is one of the most underrated characters in the entire franchise. Kitsunami is in the comics now. I've only just started reading the comics, so I'm not fully clued up. I totally didn't Google this character, but then I saw the visual and I was like, oh, no, I know who they are. I just don't know much else because I've barely read the comics. I'm not saying that meme. Right, let's move on to... Where are we? Aaron Carter Animation Forever 10 says, Yokawa's current artwork is reminding me of the current Sonic from Unleashed or Forces / Frontiers. I mean, it kind of makes sense too. Because, you know, it's kind of the direction he's going now. You know, it's... Like, we've all seen, like, the new renders and stuff, so it doesn't surprise me that they're all trying to look the same, obviously, for consistency's sake. It makes sense. Oh, we got a big one here, boys. We got a big one here. 3 of them in one as well, again. Not a fan of the IDW comics, personally. I mean, I've just started reading them. I don't think they're too bad so far. They're alright. I'm only a few issues in, though. Is Sally Acorn in a game? I don't believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If anything, she's made one appearance, but I don't recall ever seeing her in a game. I know she was in the cartoon. And I know... Yeah, but do we count Sonic Spinball? I don't know if we do. But I know she was very prominent. Was it in the Archie comics as well? Was it the Archie comics? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Right, where was I? Oh, yeah, there I was. Lego AWC Stop Motioner 9435 has 3 takes here. Okay, these are actually quite interesting. Now, bear in mind, I've only sort of not skim read these. Well, who am I kidding? I have. So this is like my first time properly reading these because I've got that many. So your first take is, I'm tired of people acting like everything wrong with Sonic X is the dub and that the sub is near perfection. Don't get me wrong, the sub does seem to be better overall, but the biggest issue with the show is too much focus on the humans, and that's just a fundamental problem with the show. The dub didn't create that problem. I'm not going to act like the dub didn't make a bunch of stupid changes, but I feel like the show is very rough no matter which version you watch. Now you see, I watched it dubbed, and that's only down to personal preference, because I'm not a big fan of watching subbed things, because I have to, and this is going to sound so lazy, I have to read the subtitles. And it's like, if I just miss like one word, that's enough for me to be like completely thrown off, and I have to like rewatch scenes like 3-4 times just to make sure I've understood everything. However, that being said, and I'll use this as an example, I think most people have a problem with when it comes to dubbed, they have a problem with the voice acting more than anything. Now, I don't think the voice acting in Sonic X is terrible. It's also not great, but you kind of expect it, considering a lot of the people in that show, it was their first kind of go at these characters. But I'll use this as an example, like Squid Game. There's no way in hell I can watch that dubbed. I've seen 2 scenes with the English dub. Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's horrible. So I understand where people come from when they say they don't like the dubbed. I don't think anyone's calling it near perfection, because a lot of people, from what I've seen, they say Sonic X is a very flawed show, and that it has a lot of filler, which it does. It has a lot of filler, and Chris Thorndike's in it. So, I mean, that in itself has, if you want to criticize Sonic X, just say, Chris Thorndike exists. Sorry. Yeah, we're just working through the takes from bottom to top. Right. Lego Stop Motioner, that's all I'm going to call them, because it's a very long name. Their second take says, While I would like something more akin to the adventure games, the modern models aren't that bad, with the exception of Sonic Enforcers and Frontiers. Yeah, I'm of the notion I prefer the longer quills. I am not starting that debate, by the way. I know literal like global conflicts have been fought over Sonic's quill length. Like, you just take one look at Reddit and everybody's at each other's throats all the time. His quills should be short, his quills should be long, and I'm just sat in the back eating a bunch of popcorn. I prefer the longer quills. I think proportionally they look better. But I think they probably will be taking a very slow step to giving him longer quills again, because I'm not being funny. I've got mods in Frontiers that changes his model because Sonic looks bald. He looks bald. His quills are that short. And I'm in Probello, never watch the English dub. Oh god, he's caught me red-handed. And then final take from Lego Stop Motioner. As far as female characters are concerned, Blaze, Rouge, Tangle, Whisper, and Surge are better than Amy. I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but I feel like Amy is only the most popular female character because she's the first notable one and the one that appears the most, but she's so inconsistent. I like her, but only in a few of her multiple appearances. I think... Alright, okay, chat. I used to not like Amy that much, and I'll tell you why. Because I didn't like... And I understand it was part of a character at the time. I didn't like how she was always perceived as this damsel in distress, so to speak, and that she was that clingy to Sonic and stuff like that. I'll say, Frontiers, I like what they've done with her character. I like what they've done with her character. Yeah, longer feels more speedy. Yep, I agree. Hello, Joshua Cruz Amas. How are you? Longer quills, shorter squills. Shorter quills. It's hair! Oh, we've got 10 people here. Sorry if I haven't been thinking about Sonic Hot Take in a long time. No, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it. I think I'm having some internet connection issues. I'll come back later, maybe. Yeah, that's fine if you're having internet problems. Don't worry, guys, by the way, if you've missed your hot take or whatever, or if you don't catch the stream or all of the stream, the VOD will be on the channel as soon as this is over, and in case you missed it, I will be making a condensed version, so I'll be putting this into DaVinci Resolve and cutting it down to video length, I suppose. If they keep aiming from Frontiers, then that would improve so much. Hopefully the movie... Yeah, I'm hoping that they do her character right in the 4th movie. They better had to. Sonic movie 4 looks like they're making her really cool. Yes, I do think they are. I hope so. Right, we've got Samir Johnson next. He's got 2 hot takes. One of them is very long. I'll leave a TLDR... Sorry. So Samir Johnson says, Samir Johnson 4524. I'm tripping over my words. How the hell is this happening? I have 2, count them. 2 big hot takes. I'm sorry in advance if they're really long. I'll leave a TLDR at the start of each if you need to get more in within the video runtime. Samir Johnson, it ain't a video, so I'll read it in full. Thank you for giving you another chance. Well, thank you for the comment. 1, I like reused levels when done right. And it goes on to explain, I actually like the idea of bringing back old levels. I just wish it was done to show how connected Sonic's world is and not for cheap fan service. Plus, they need to be more creative. They need to be more creative with their level picks, like Spring Yard over Green Hill. I suppose they could do it like Adventure 2, where it's a secret unlockable bonus. That could work. Samir Johnson, you're spot on there. I completely agree. I think I've noticed they've had the tendency to reuse Green Hill so much. I understand it's iconic. I get that. But my god, like something else. Please, anything. Anything else. Yeah, and that's fair enough. I mean, we're here to agree to disagree, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, Green Hill's like too much. Okay, this is gonna start a bloodbath. If any of the hot takes I've received prior or anything to go by. Sonic Adventure 2 is kind of overhated now. Now, with all due respect to Samir Johnson, actually, I probably don't even need to read this because I know exactly what you're getting into. Oh boy, right. I'll just have a quick glance at this, see if I do need to include anything here. I think it's overhated there. I said it last time. I went over why I found the first adventure game to be a tad bit overrated. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Right. Let's dissect this. Is Sonic Adventure 2 kind of overhated now? I don't think so. I think it is slowly getting to that point. And listen, hear me out. Just like with a lot of other Sonic games, it's becoming very trendy to hate on the popular games. 5 years ago, nobody was saying this. Nobody. But just because one person was saying Sonic Adventure 2 sucks, Sonic Adventure 2 is terrible, Sonic Adventure 2 is overrated, Sonic Adventure 2 is trash, where it's like, all of a sudden it's now become very popular to do so, and I think unfortunately it's a very common trend in the Sonic community for people to hate the popular games. It is. It's like, even, like, literally, you have the Sonic Adventure 1 fans and Sonic Adventure 2 fans fighting in the octagon all the time. Like, this WrestleMania season worthy level stuff here. Like, these two sets of fans seem to always be at each other's throats. And I've found it's also becoming... Sorry, I'm going on a massive tangent. I'm finding it's becoming more common to like one, but not the other. Guys, you can like both. Like, you can like both. And you can have your preferences. I do think it's becoming a lot more common. But I don't know if it's overhated yet. But I have noticed a large vocal group of people coming out and talking about how Sonic Adventure 2 is a bad game or how it's overrated. I think give it 6 months and we'll probably be there. Yeah, that's what I mean. Listen, I love Sonic Adventure 2, but I'm willing to call out the things it does wrong. I will. I'm not one of those people that go like it's perfect. There's still people out there who think it's like perfect. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you love Sonic Adventure 2, that's cool. That's fine. The same way that if you don't like it, that's fine. But I do find when an opinion starts to become popular, I mean, Unleashed has been getting it because of Recompiled. You know, people are... And on both ends of the spectrum, there's people out there that will claim they've always loved Unleashed, yet they were the first people back in 2008 to say how crap it was. I've always been Unleashed's like biggest defender. Swear to God. I'm just glad people appreciate it now. For watching the whole fiasco of Popcorn Hand. It is funny. It is funny. It is front row seat entertainment. I have to say, you know, it's like they say, nobody hates this franchise more than Sonic fans. So, let's... This bit I do disagree with. As for the treasure hunting, I really do think the criticism behind the radar is massively overblown. Samir John, I'll be honest, Samir, I don't agree. If there's one thing I hate, and I absolutely hate in Adventure 2, it's the Knuckles and Rouge stages. I actually don't mind the mech stages. I don't love them. I don't mind them. But yeah, the treasure hunting's not for me. Oh god, they're so tedious. But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean, obviously. Even Omochao is super helpful. I've just noticed as well that you said. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. That's probably TOS. Anyway, see if there's anything else in here I want to point out. I get the general gist of what you're saying, though. Everybody likes speed stages, yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone doesn't like it. The Chao Garden's cool, yeah. The music's good in it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, fair play, fair point. Pumpkin Hill was only good for its music. I do like Pumpkin Hill's music. I will say. Right, next, we've got no more from Samir Johnson, have we? No, we haven't. Thank you for your takes, Samir Johnson, really appreciate it. I spent way too long on that one. Pew Paw Pals, sorry, I completely butchered your name. I'm all for whatever ridiculous or cutesy collabs Sonic's gonna have next. Some of them sound actually really awesome, like Precure or Doraemon. Yeah, I mean, the collabs and stuff, I've noticed they've been doing a lot more. They've been doing a lot more collabs, which is good. Yeah, Swifty, I understand that. I get that. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's one or the other. I prefer the mech stages more because they play more like a stage. Sorry, going back to this one I've just read. Yeah, the collabs are cool. Some of them can be a bit like, just not for me. But for the most part, the collabs are fine. It's like, I remember when, and albeit they were trying to promote Cross Worlds as well, they randomly teamed up with the McLaren F1 team and started to promote the heck out of the game and everything like that with every Grand Prix weekend, which was really cool. It was really nice, and the artwork's awesome. But I think that was more of a, you know, oh, Sonic Light's going fast, Formula 1 cars are fast. Oh, seems like a match made in heaven, and we're releasing a racing game. So, I'll check out your poll after the stream, Joshua. I will. Oh, they have, haven't they? They've got Five Guys, yeah. Five Guys decals. No problem, Swifty. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Hope to see you again soon. Anyway, next what? Oh, I had the full comment open. Sonic Rush is over. Well, G-Nest, should I say? G-Nest, sorry. I'm literally pronouncing it as it's spelled. Sonic Rush is overrated. Oh boy. The visuals and general vibes of the game are great. The music is spectacular. Too black, too strong. The gameplay is cool. It is pretty fun doing tricks and finding time savers on levels. Yeah. But the level design and bosses really muddle the experience. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good game. It just could have been a lot better if the level design wasn't pure torture. And the bosses, most of them range from okay to annoying, but Huge Crisis, Final Zone, and Final Boss are just incredibly infuriating. And it really sucks considering how hype the final boss is overall. It's a nice game. For God's sake, stop calling the comment. Overall, it's a nice game that could have been handled a lot better in the level department. Okay. I'll be honest, chat. I've not really played Sonic Rush, but I know this is a hot take because it's actually a very popular game. I hear no end of praise of Sonic Rush. It's just at the time, I don't think I had... Is it on Game Boy Advance? Or is it DS? I think it's DS, isn't it? Either way, I think I'd like lost either or both of them. So there was no way I could play it. Which kind of sucked. So, I don't really have an opinion on Sonic Rush. I'm not going to pretend I have an opinion on Sonic Rush. All I know is that this is a hot take because people love this game. DS, I thought so. Yeah, Lucky 7, unfortunately, that is where we're at. I agree with Sonic Rush being overrated, but the bosses were a little off, and I didn't really like the special stages. Yeah, that's fair enough. Right. The creator 87 says Sonic and the Black Knight is the best Sonic game to have ever come out. Not in terms of gameplay, but if you combine its music, story, characters, and the gameplay, which is overhated, I think it's the best one. Oh, and Black Knight also has the best soundtrack of any Sonic game. Black Knight's soundtrack is fire. It is. Hear me out on that. It is fire. However, my problem with the storybook games is because of how they play. I just don't think, and maybe they're not meant to, but they don't really play like a Sonic game. I understand it's because of the hardware they were on and stuff like that, and I guess they had to change things up a little bit. But with all due respect, is there any wonder why they've not made a third storybook game? Is there any wonder? I'm not saying they're bad. I mean, Secret Rings was ass. I'm not saying they're bad. But yeah. When my friends here, first thing they do is shout, "All hail Whisper." Black Knight has a cool aesthetic, but it is a glorified Subway Surfers. That's amazing. I ain't played Black Knight in ages. I need to play it again, and I will. I will at some point. Right. Next one. DSmith3279. Sorry in advance for the essay, but this needs to be said. Oh, Christ. This is like Lord of the Rings. I love it, though. Right. Oh. Oh, God, no. Oh, no. Oh, this hurts me to my core. This hurts me to my core. Okay. I'm going to try and paraphrase this because this is a really long comment. People love acting like the 2000s, the adventure era, was objectively better than the 2010s, the colours era. Usually because of the stories, the experimentation, or vague stuff like potential and aura. They are literally all the things I defended the 2000s on. Okay. The 2000s and 2010s are basically opposites in how they failed. Both were heavily criticised for not feeling like Sonic, just in completely different ways. Okay, let me digest this, because you do raise a good point in a way there. Okay, right, so I am a big defender of the 2000s. I am. And if you see my 2000s video, now sitting at 7,000 views, just want to plug that right there. So, my problem with the 2010s for Sonic was that it did feel like there wasn't enough experimentation. But at the same time, with the 2000s, I think the reason why Sonic's reputation was in the mud is because the franchise suffered an identity crisis and couldn't seem to make up its mind of what it wanted to be. But there's just something about that I love, and I don't know why. It's like no one game was ever the same, whereas we know the next mainline Sonic game is going to play quite similarly to Sonic Frontiers. I think even Sega came out and actually said that is the direction that we're going in. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, as well, that's another thing I want to point out, because I did actually read this comment off stream because I wanted to see how much of an essay it truly was. And the fact that it was about the 2000s, it got my attention pretty quickly. Yeah, the 2000s tried to make Sonic darker. Again, I like that. Albeit it was a bit tongue-in-cheek with it at times. Shadow 05. Very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, like, again, the 2010s played it too safe. Both eras had quality control issues. The 2000s were worse about it, in your opinion, but the 2010s weren't flawless. Yeah, and I think a big reason as to why, and I'll use it as an example, Sonic 06, which I don't defend, by the way. Sonic 06 literally was like completely like developmentally handicapped from the start because they split the development team in half. And it wasn't the first time during that period where they'd make some very questionable decisions behind the scenes that, yeah, unfortunately contributed to the franchise's downfall. But I just love the 2000s, man. I love the 2000s. You do finish off by saying that both eras just basically had their own problems. And you're right. They did. No one era of Sonic is ever going to be perfect. Like, I think there's even people out there trashing on current Sonic. I get it. I understand it. Both eras are different. Both eras have their own flaws. Like, yeah, that I agree on. But I will die on that hill and say I love the 2000s of Sonic. I don't care. Maybe it's because that's the era I grew up in. Maybe they're the games that I'm most familiar with. I don't know. I'm sticking to it. Okay? I'm sticking to it. Sticking to it. No, not protect. Oh yeah, we don't use the P word here. Only better game in 2000s is 06. Shadow doesn't even count as a spin-off. Well, that's a bit of a grey area though, because some people do consider it a mainline game. I'd say it's not, because you're not playing as Sonic. I'd say it's not a mainline game, but in terms of the actual game itself, it does play more like a mainline game. If that makes sense. I don't know. 06 concepts and cut content is amazing. Yeah, I guess. Right, we've got Hates Bren in with the Sonic Boom designs for the main cast are actually good. Yes, even Knuckles, and are just as good as the classic and modern redesigns. I think people look past the designs due to the poor reception Sonic Boom received at the time. Yes and no. Let me break this down. So, the Boom games are horrifically received. I had people comparing. I think it was in one of my hot takes videos. Somebody asked me what did more damage to Sonic's reputation. Was it 06 or was it the Boom games? In my opinion, it's 100. No, sorry, that was in the Q&A. It's 100% Sonic 06. And I'll explain why. Because Sonic Boom came out during a time where Sonic's reputation was already in the mud. Like, there wasn't really that much more damage that you could do to the franchise that hadn't already been done. Whereas 06 almost killed the franchise. Like, this is well documented. It almost killed the franchise. Now, why I say yes and no. The TV show, on the other hand, Sonic Boom, from the general gist of what I've got from it, it was actually quite well liked. I don't necessarily think the reputation has anything to do with it. I think people just genuinely don't like the designs, and I'll explain why. Because Sonic's about as tall as the Master Chief. Knuckles, it just proportionally to me looks weird. I think the only character design in Boom that you could generally look at and say isn't too bad is probably Tails, because they barely changed him, at least from memory. They barely changed him. So, I don't think the problems really stem from the reputation Boom and the reception that Boom received, because it was only really the games getting criticised, and a lot of the criticism of Sonic Boom, the games, weren't about the designs really. Yeah, the designs caught some strays as well, but a lot of the criticisms of Sonic Boom were just to do with the fact that they were just really unpolished, from what I've gathered and what I've seen. Yeah, if you like the designs, that's fair enough. I mean, obviously opinions are like you know what. But that's fine. Yeah. Right, Chucky Boy 864, love that name by the way. Comes in with this. Season 3 of Sonic X was bad. Maybe it's because I first watched the show on Netflix when they only had the first 2 seasons, but I thought that was it until I saw Season 3 when the show was on Prime Video. So maybe that's it, but I just didn't like it. I felt like it was kind of unnecessary since Season 2 just felt like a finale for the show. I also wasn't a fan of the shadow memory loss plot being used again. Granted, I was never a big fan of reusing game plot lines. I preferred the show when it was doing its own thing, making new stories, situations for the characters, but it just felt so repetitive. I also felt like they kind of rushed Tails and Cosmos' relationship. Don't get me wrong, I love their interactions, but I felt it could have had more headway. That's just my opinion though. Right. I think the issue, and this is my opinion, I think the issue with Sonic X, and you kind of raise a good point here. Sonic X, kind of like a lot of anime style shows, they do have a habit of running too long and stretching out storylines more than they should, and including a lot of filler, as we established earlier, including a lot of filler and just sort of beating the show within an inch of its life. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I think, to be honest, 2 seasons for Sonic X probably would have been enough. I kind of agree. In terms of like reusing game plot lines, yeah, but I understand why they do it, because they were trying to like tie it all in a knot and stuff. In Tails and Cosmos' relationship, do I value my life? Fuck it, no I don't. I'm not a fan of romantic themes in Sonic games. Not a fan. Don't ask why. I don't know why. I just don't. And yeah, I don't know, just my opinion. I know that's going to get me shot, but hey ho. In today's day and age, we need more games like Secret Rings, Black Knight, and CD, thematically at least. Yeah, I like the themes of the storybook games especially. I do like them. I think going back to that, I think they were at their best when they were just making you know what I mean? When it was about the themes. What am I saying? Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with chat. Hello Barry, do I value my life? No, of course not. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I'm beating around the bush, Lucky 7. that's why I'm trying not to go into too much detail. I haven't played Drive Club PS4 game in a long time. I had that on VR. Elise! Yeah. That's why I'm trying to beat around the bush, Lucky 7 there. Right, Orange Slices says, Sonic is actually consistent due to how consistently inconsistent his games are. Oh my god. Do you know what? Chat, I think Orange Slices might be cooking. However, I think we're going to see a lot more consistency because we've had 3 well-received major Sonic releases in a row, and the size of Sonic team, we've got like, I think over like 400 employees now, so there's going to be like a lot better quality control. Unless Sega, of course, decide to go to Sonic Team and say, hurry up! So, no, Jason, I haven't got round to it, and I'm not going to lie to you, Jason, it's probably not going to get read out, because I saw what you put. I saw what you put. Gotta keep it PG, man. Right. Consistently inconsistent is a hell of a phrase, isn't it? Right, JDR, Roman numerals that I don't know what they are. I think that's 18. Sonic 2's Emerald Hill Zone song is a billion times better than Sonic 1's overrated Green Hill Zone song. Emerald Hill should replace it as the iconic theme song of the franchise, because most people's favourite Sonic game is 2. Okay, yeah, fair point. And it's just so much more fulfilling. Not many agreed when I said this in my classic Sonic ranking video or shorts clips. That's why we call them hot takes, my friend. Right. Okay, let me digest this. Right. Sonic 1's soundtrack is not one of my favourites. You could argue it's the most iconic, especially Green Hill Zone. You have a case for that. But I don't... I mean, you kind of have a point, because like you say, Sonic 2 is most people's favourite Sonic game, but unfortunately, for better or worse, Green Hill Zone's music is one of the most iconic, because it's one of the very first songs that you hear, minus the start screen. In fact, it is the first song that you hear when you launch up Sonic 1. Again, minus the start screen. But I suppose I see where you're coming from. But thank you for your take. Yes, Sonic Scare, you're right. Hello, the baseball Zed. How are you? I like the Emerald Hill level more, but Green Hill music is irreplaceable. Fair point. Oh, it's Sus Ramirez. Oh, this is gonna get good. Yeah, here we go. So Sus Ramirez says, every attempt Sega has made to make the Sonic canon fit together better, Tales Tube, Twitter takeovers, Celtic's case files, IDW, is a complete waste of time, and there is no meaningful Sonic canon. Also, IDW is worse than all other Sonic media I've ever seen. Oh. He's out for blood. Sus Ramirez is out for blood. Okay. No meaningful Sonic canon. Where do we draw the line on that? Like, I understand technically the comics and the games and the movies, they've all got their own canon and their own confines and their own universes, so to speak. But at the same time, I think you might need some familiarity between the media, maybe. I don't know if that's just me. Sus is on IDW. W Sus. My Sonic canon is the SA2 and Shadow fandom, so I can't have much on this take. Are we talking Snapcube? I thought the Celtic case files and Twitter takeovers were pretty cool and funny. Yeah. I mean, I've not seen Celtic case files. I still need to watch them, but I've seen the Twitter takeovers, and they are funny. All right, thank you, Sus. It's completely true that I never liked the comics, so I don't know. But Sonic is like a Nickelodeon sitcom. First episode fit together, and then it becomes a mess. Yeah, to be honest with you, you got a point. Log24T says, after how they got redeemed in IDW, Zavok is a top 5 Sonic villain, and Dead Elite 6 are some of the greatest Sonic villains ever. Now, guys, chat, I am replaying through Sonic Lost World as we speak. I know we're talking about IDW here. But no. No, I'm sorry, not a fan. Not a fan. I'm not a fan of Zavok and stuff. I'm just not. Sonic is a sociopath in IDW. Thank you, Log24T, for that one. Crown Cub says, Chris is an okay character and not terrible. Oh my god, we've got 2 people glazing. Chris Thorndyke. Okay. Alright. Alright. Okay. Nah, I'm digging into this. Zavok's not even top 10 now. I want an 06 PS3 playthrough. Mate, I need a capture card for that. Right. Okay, we're gonna mix these together. So Bacon Hair also says we'll go back to his first one in a second. Even Chris Thorne. Oh no, actually we'll mix the two together because it's actually a one take. My bad. So Bacon Hair follows it up with Silver the Hedgehog is glazed and doesn't deserve his own games. I'll tell you why I agree. Even Chris Thorndyke is better. He ain't that bad. Come on, no. Silver's better than Chris Thorndyke. Chris Thorndyke. I swear they made Chris Thorndyke to be intentionally annoying. Yeah. He was just so stupid at times. Like, he'd put himself in situations and you think, yeah, I know you're a kid, but you can't be that dumb. Anyway. Chris Thorndyke, I don't like him. However, Silver the Hedgehog is glazed and doesn't deserve his own games. Now, I disagree with both sides of this. Glazed, hard to really tell considering Silver, unless it's like in the comics, hasn't really had a prominent presence in the games since Sonic 06, really. He's only starting to really get some more love now. Doesn't deserve his own games. I wholeheartedly agree. And I'll tell you why. Because there's not enough content there in the games to warrant his own game. People are talking about we need a silver generations. Well, what have you got to work with? Like, you haven't got a lot. Shadow got his own Generations game because there's enough content there. Sonic obviously got his own Generations game because there's enough content there. Silver right now, until we start seeing him become a more prominent appearance in the games, I can't see it. Can't see it happening yet. Chris Clutty plays before the big GTA 6. So not a bad character, he's just had bad luck. Yeah. I don't mind Chris, but his inclusion in all but the first season does little to nothing in my opinion. Unless forced by the anime. Yeah. Is that Amazing With Me? And some letters after it which have been randomly cut off. No, that's H7R, my bad. 1. Superstars is a solid game. The levels are actually well designed with a great balance of speed and platforming. Trip might be the best alternative playstyle in classic Sonic. The soundtrack is very inconsistent and the bosses, how did I read that as bombs? It's because I read lobotomized, were made by lobotomized. Oh Jesus, that is dark. But the level design is actually really consistent. It's not as good as the other Sonic classic games except Sonic 1, but I do think the gameplay overall is solid. Okay, my opinion on Superstars is I don't mind it, but I did get it on sale. I don't think I would have paid full price for Superstars. I'm glad I got it at the price I did. I got it at like half price. I got it at like $24.99 when it was on a massive sale. So I don't mind Superstars. Do I love Superstars? No. I don't mind Superstars though. Hello X-Man. Welcome. Next one by Amazing With Me. Unleashed controls better than Generations. Gens feels really stiff and accelerates like a turtle at low speeds with a stomp that stops all of your momentum and a drift that is too tight but can't add to your speed like it does in Unleashed. I agree. I know people are going to say Generations controls better, and we've already kind of briefly gone over this. And Generations does control better, but I prefer how Unleashed controls. I do. But that's me being biased. Because, yeah. Let's catch up with chat. Say keeps raising the bar when it comes to prices in a bad way. Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm in no position to, like, criticize Sega for the prices they're charging, because I bought the digital deluxe edition of Crossworlds just for the Werehog. I can't I'm in no position. So I'm not... I'm just not going to, like, say anything on that in that regard. Final take by Amazing With Me. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is kind of glazed. I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but in terms of gameplay, bosses, level design, etc., Mania is better in those regards, except for story. Like I say, I still love 3K. It's in my top 5 Sonic games, but Mania is, in almost every way, is just better. It depends on how you see it, though, I suppose. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Mania, but I would rather go back and play the older Sonic games before playing through Mania again. I appreciate what Mania does, and Mania's really good. But I just prefer the older games slightly. Just saying. I have actually recently started playing Sonic CD for the first time, believe it or not, chat, and I do like it so far. Then we've got Blade the Hedgehog YT, quite a regular viewer to the channel. One, Sonic Adventure is a horrible Sonic game, and the OST is also bad. Oh, brother. Oh god. I understand why people might not like Sonic Adventure. You are playing with fire. Oh no. 2, Sonic Forces is better than all adventure games. Oh. Blade, with all due respect, you cannot seriously. I know opinions are a thing, but surely that's got to be rage bait, and it's worked. Surely that's got to be rage bait. Yeah, Blade might be in a lot of trouble. Not by me. Not by me. And third, Shadow Generations OST is the best OST in the entire series. Now, I understand why people might have that opinion, because I do like Shadow Gens' soundtrack a lot. But obviously, as expected, a lot of the songs in it are slight variations of obviously what we've already got. The soundtrack is good though, I do like it. I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but it's good. So, Tuning In 2008 says, Sonic Frontiers is a good blueprint for future games, but is otherwise not a good game. Right, here's my opinion on Frontiers, and I'll go into more detail about it when the video eventually comes out. Don't put me on a time constraint because I have no idea. I have no idea which, when it's going to come out, sorry. But Sonic Frontiers being a good blueprint for future games, yes. Because it was the first Sonic game in quite some time that did kind of experiment and try and change things up a little bit. And I think for the most part, the ideas that they do include in the game do work. However, on the flip side, Frontiers to me is so unpolished. And I just feel like it could be so much better in one or two areas. Like the pop-in is annoying for a start. Don't get me started on the pop-in. Please don't. I think that is one of the game's biggest Achilles heels. And people love to blame the Nintendo Switch for it. I'm not fully buying that. But at the same time, I can see why it would have been a contributing factor. But otherwise, not a good game. I find Frontiers, it's very divisive. Some people absolutely love it. Some people absolutely hate it. I find with Frontiers, there's no in between. You either love it or you hate it. I don't think I've really seen anybody say, "Oh, I think Frontiers is okay." I've seen people say, "I love Frontiers," and then other people have said, "I hate Frontiers. It's terrible." I've never seen an in between. I prefer usually I can't pronounce his name because I'm terrible at it. You know who? Yukawa. I will just say Yukawa, and if I get that wrong, I apologise. Current Sonic Channel artwork over his Adventure era artwork. I mean, again, fair play. I mean, I prefer his Adventure stuff, but that's just me. And then your final one is Boost is better than Adventure. I have two cases for this. Adventure is better because I felt like the format felt more rewarding when you got the best possible rank in the game, whether that was an S rank or an A rank, whatever the highest rank was for at the time. I know in Adventure 2 it's A rank, I think S ranks were only slightly later. It felt more rewarding because a lot of it was based on momentum. It was based on having to keep yourself moving. Whereas the general sense of speed you get in the boost games, which you would expect, is better. I think that to me is why, like, I think both can go hand in hand as to why either or can be better than the other. I think that is purely just down to personal preference. And it just depends on what you want in a Sonic game. There's loads of people wanting the adventure format to come back. There's loads of people wanting them to stick with boost, and then there's other people kind of like myself, where you get a mix of the two, if that makes sense. Let's catch up with chat. Sorry guys. I absolutely hate Frontiers when I got it and it came out. I didn't get how it worked. I took 2.5 years to get it. Right. I'm of the same camp. When I first played Frontiers, I really didn't like it. I've grown to love it since. That's what I say love. I think love is probably a very strong word. I like it, but I am willing to point out the flaws, and again, I'll cover that in the video. I'm not going to cover them here. I prefer Boost. I can't English today. I prefer Boost compared to Adventure, but I like both as separate things. Yeah, I'm same here, man. Same here. SA2 makes me want to lose it. That is a belter. We need to get a modern adventure-style game. Yeah. The only way to get the adventure gameplay back is probably a remaster, but it probably won't happen. I think there's murmurs going around that potentially we might see a remaster of some kind, but there's nothing concrete yet. I think they're not opposed to the idea of it, but they're just not focusing on it yet. I'm playing Jedi Survivor and my muscle memory from Silksong is fucking me up. I ain't played Jedi Survivor, actually. I need to. Frontiers is a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, I think that is probably the most fair score you can give it. I like Frontiers. I'll not be watching it again, but I liked what I saw. Watched because I'm broke. That's fair. Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to play games. Lucky7, you're up next. Oh boy, let's have a look here. So your first one is Sonic Movie 1 is okay, but not a good Sonic movie. Not only has the whole talking animal seeks refuge from danger and then going on a road trip thing been done to hell and back. Second time with James Marsden, by the way. Yeah, I've seen the memes. But I feel there was a little more lore that could have been established here, like how Sonic was born on Mobius and all that. And I think the pacing was kind of off. Overall, it's a fun watch, but if you're looking for a genuine Sonic movie, just watch the OVA. Right. I agree with quite a bit of what you're saying here, but I do have a bit of a counter argument to it. So Sonic movie, the first Sonic movie, I enjoyed it. It's not the best, and I will be reviewing these movies at some point in the future, and then, you know, I'll go into more detail in those videos at some point. I'm going to try and review them before the fourth movie comes out, so it's going to be some point this year. Not only Talking Animal seeks refuge from danger and the other one on road trip's been done before. Yes, it has. It's a very bare bones basic plot line. It's been done before. It has been done to death. You're right. However, my counter argument to this is this, whether we want to admit it or not, these movies are made for the general public. They're made to make money. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is entirely up to you. Because a lot of people complain there's lore inaccuracies, which there is. They've changed certain things, like, you know, the fact that YouTube do not take me down. That Maria doesn't catch a bullet didn't happen. But she's in it. So they've changed certain things, I think, to make it more accessible. And obviously, there are certain things that the older Sonic games you probably wouldn't get away with including in the modern in the sort of how things are now. And they do change. They have changed a lot of things, but again, I think it's for ease of access more than anything. I don't like a lot of what we see and what we're familiar with. It's more references and callbacks for Sonic fans to appreciate. But I think the general gist of the movies is that they're as accessible as possible for families to get involved in, because we have to remember there's plenty of people who are getting into the Sonic franchise through the movies. And that's kind of what they're made for. Like, yeah, they're made for Sonic fans, but they're more made as movies for the general public than they are movies made with Sonic fans completely in mind. Because I think if you made the movies like purely for Sonic fans, I think you'd lose a lot of people. People won't be like, what is going on? Like, because we all know, maybe not so much now, there was a point where Sonic's lore was incredibly convoluted. And I also agree, by the way, if you're wanting to watch a genuine Sonic movie, just watch the OVA. The OVA ain't perfect, but I prefer the OVA over the 3 movies. I do. I think that feels more like a Sonic movie. Anyway. Just reading chat, just catching up with chat. Look, my short story. Right, number 2, your second one. Secret Rings is by far the most overhated game in the series. People in and out of the fanbase dunk on it simply because of the awkward motion controls, and to that I say, get good. If you play the game enough to get used to them, choose your ring upgrades wisely. The controls become way more tolerable. Other than that, the story is pretty nice. The OST isn't really all that memorable, with some standouts being It Has Come to This, No Way Through, Let the Speed Mend, and White of Sky. The level environments have really nice variety. Eraser Jin is a great villain, and it's, in my opinion, just an awesome experience overall. I've not played Secret Rings since it came out. And bear in mind, I was a kid, and I did not have fun with it. It's because of the awkward motion controls. I know it's the whole get good thing and stuff, and maybe there is enjoyment to be had, but I think if you want your game to do well, you've got to make it as accessible as possible from the start. And obviously with it being a game primarily made for kids, I don't know about now, but certainly back when I was younger, I didn't have the patience to get good. It was either I liked it or I didn't, and there was no in between. So I barely played it. Like, I might go back and revisit it for emulation or something, or whatever. Or if I get my hands on a Nintendo Wii again, I might play it again. I don't know. One of the 2 things. I'm gonna probably go back and revisit it. I don't see why not. Dino Gungle. Lore still is convoluted. Yeah, but I think they're trying to make it more accessible. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, they do feel like movies made by people who care. No, I completely, wholeheartedly agree, but what I'm saying is that they are primarily made to be easy to access. Like, the people behind the movies do genuinely love the IP, and have worked directly with Sega and the Sonic team, 100%. But I think that their goal, at least, especially with the first one, maybe not as we get more movies, they're wanting them to be as accessible and easy to follow as possible, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. If I describe Secret Rings, Blue Rat fights Genie from Aladdin. Yeah, Eraser Jin's design is cool. Is that a Sonic Surface? Yeah. You make 06 look good. Right, and then your third one, One Way Dream, is one of the best songs in the entire franchise, and it's not even close. The whole song is just Sega saying, we're back up and we're not going down anytime soon, and this song gets the point across amazingly, while still sounding absolutely stellar. Hell, this is one of the only 2 songs ever to make me cry on a first listen, the other being Live Life. Every minute segment of this, I have lost my train of thought. Where am I? Every minute segment of this masterpiece is beautifully crafted to the point where I just can't help belting it out whenever it comes up on my playlist. Nate's vocals and Tomoyo-san's instrumental combined together in the best ways to create this breathtakingly extravagant delicacy. They just cooked so damn hard. The song was the perfect way to let the fans, the world, know that Sonic is back. A Dream to Life. Do you know what? I think you can say a lot about like similar things about a lot of Sonic songs. If there's one thing that I find is very difficult with Sonic soundtracks, it is genuinely difficult, at least in my opinion it is. It's genuinely difficult to pick one like song that just stands out. Like, I think everybody will have a favourite song that's different from each other's, because Sonic soundtracks, bar one or two releases, maybe more, have great soundtracks. Hello, Mr. Boomer. How are you? But yeah, I think you will have a case for pretty much all Sonic soundtracks, really. I've technically already covered this. Power 1004 says Sonic Forces isn't as bad as many say. Technically already covered this, but I will cover the part of it where you say, sure, some levels are faster than it could be, but the boost to win doesn't hold up. It only lasts a few seconds in just a few parts. The reason why people call it boost to win is because the game, like, Sonic's always had a thing with automation. It's always had automation for like the longest time. But the way I can describe Force's stages is it feels like it's all automation, and you don't have that much control. And I think that's why people say it feels like boost to win, because some stages do feel like, oh, just press the boost button and Sonic will do the rest. To me, that's how it felt. That's how it felt. Yes, Murillo, yes, that's kind of what I said earlier on in the stream. I said basically it's not a bad game, it's just really boring. Yeah, Forces painfully made, and yeah, Forces does hold your hand like crazy. I'm sorry, I know people like Forces, I just don't particularly love it. I don't particularly love it. It's just, it is a forgettable game. Oh, and also this bottom bit you included. Sonic shouldn't be called Sonic because in no game he moves as fast as Lightspeed. Primarily because that would be really, really hard to control. Can you imagine? Toadbro97 says, Sonic Forces is on par with Colors, meaning it's good. Okay, we technically already covered Forces like 3 times now. I don't know if I'm able to do 2, but my second is Sonic 2 is the worst classic game, but it's still good. Oh good lord, Toad bro. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Right. Stevie Tring 1106 says Sonic needs villains to, I'm assuming, to be better. The end is a freaking planet that speaks is good, but the final boss is so stupid besides the Gallagher part. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, do you mean as in the villains need to be better, or that you mean Sonic needs villains to be better? I'm like Lightspeed the Hedgehog. I know, Mr. Boomer, there's a lot in here about the adventure games. Sonic Skater, you're next. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed is the best racing game of all time. Not just in the Sonic series, but I mean ever. Now, can I level you? Can I level with you? 9 times out of 10, racing games like Sonic Racing and Mario Kart, I'm probably going to get sued for saying that, and Crash Team Racing, they're not my go-to. They're not my go-to racing games. I very much play racing games like Gran Turismo. I'll play, there's one out there called R-Factor 2. I'll play Assetto Corsa, which is highly moddable, by the way, highly moddable. So, like, Sonic Racing Crossworlds is, like, the only one that I've genuinely sunk a good portion of time into. Because, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I don't like getting bombarded, and I don't like the fact that... I like there to be rules, and you break the rules, you get a penalty, right? I like clean racing. And I know the whole point of these racing games is that it's not clean racing and that you throw a bunch of stuff at people. I get that, and that's fine. But I'm very traditional when it comes to racing. And yeah, that's just what I like. That's what I like. But it is a fair opinion, yeah. Just like X-Man says, it is a fair opinion. Right, we've got Coley M3F saying, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, I suppose hating on colours is pretty common nowadays, so that doesn't really count as a hot take. First hot take is, Superstars is generally a great game and is overhated for basically no reason. Again, I think it's relative. I think the reason why I don't mind Superstars all that much is, again, I didn't pay full price for it. I think if I paid full price for it, I probably wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't, like, it's like I said, I wouldn't pay full price for it. I'm happy I paid what I did. Best racing game is which raindrop reaches to the window first. Hell yeah. Yeah, Superstars can be boring at times. Number 2, Rush Adventure is a top 5 Sonic game and is insanely underrated. Is it though? Like, not saying it's not top 5, but is it underrated? Because again, I see a lot of people praising it. I do. I see a lot of people praising it. I'll leave that up to you guys. Do you think it's do you think they're right here? Do you think it's underrated? And number 3, Secret Rings is a solid game. Oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. Oh, look, you can have that opinion. That's fine. I'm not gonna hold it against you. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold it against you. But thank you for your takes. Snap Apollo says, another familiar name. I mean, a lot of these names are familiar. Number 1, tornado jump from Sonic Heroes must exist in other Sonic games. It's so cool. I kind of agree. I feel like that it was Heroes had a lot of interesting mechanics in it. I know people love to hate it, and I know people do hate it. I know people are like, "Oh, Heroes sucks," to a certain somebody, especially. But I like a lot of what Heroes does. It ain't perfect, and I do agree with a tornado jump in Heroes being included, maybe more. I think so. Where are we up to? So we go from praising Heroes to attacking Heroes. Homing attack in Heroes is a nightmare. I've never had a problem with it, but that's just me personally. I've never had a problem with it. Sonic Heroes is awesome. I've never had a problem with homing attack. And then Frontiers Definitive Edition should have either another ending like Encore Mode in Mania Plus or skills for characters. They could also make the characters more playable. Yes, I think if we are getting a Definitive Edition, which it's all things seem to be pointing towards that we are. If they're gonna charge full price, which we all know they're going to do, right? First of all, buy Frontiers now because it's not a full price game. I would buy Frontiers now before it's delisted. Secondly, they do need to make some changes and add content in to just even warrant an increased price tag. They need to. If there's not enough changes, they cannot charge full price for it. I'm sorry, but they can't. If they do, then, well, you're going to see a rant for a start. I do love me a good old rant video. But, yeah. Bacon Hair, hello. I've already read your take. I'll try and make sure I include it in the condensed version of the video. I'm just going to say you did cook. You did. But yeah, so I think if a Definitive Edition is going to exist, it's got to genuinely be a Definitive Edition. Just saying. Right. Mr. Autism 1 says, first of all, they need to make the coils longer. Yeah, yours was like not too long ago, actually. So Mr. Autism says, please use mine first, I beg of thee. I'm sorry, Mr. Autism, I had to do it in order. 1. Sonic is not a kid's I think if you mean kids game, Sonic is not a kids game if you really think about it. Depends on how you look at it. Like, how are we looking at this? Because the general themes and everything, yeah, I would say it's a kids game technically, well, family friendly. But the games aren't afraid to explore dark themes and storylines. We've seen it before. I mean, when you really dig into Frontiers' story, yeah, okay, it's not the darkest, but they do delve into some pretty heavy topics. Like on the surface, oh yeah, it's all colourful and vibrant, and it looks like a kids game, but it does deal with some themes that you're just like, oof, that was heavy. And I think that is what they're going to be doing going forward. 2, Sonic and Mario Olympic game titles are mid. I've only played the 2008 one. I've not played any of the others. All I know is that Nintendo got a little bit uppity about having Sonic ahead of Mario. I did enjoy the game, though. I did enjoy the game. Yeah, true, Sonic Skater. True. However, I mean, we were meant to technically see it, but then it ended up being cut content, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just, like, heavily implied. Like, you can connect the dots. Like, it was like, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. That's why I say I think it's more family friendly. Yeah, I know how Maria perished. I know how she perished. Oh, yeah, Mariah through. True. I'm not going to go too much in that. No, it's okay, Bacon Hair. Like I say, you know, the VOD's going to be up. I mean, I was meant to start later, but it's because, well, we've gone past, like, 9 p.m. now. And I've been streaming for about an hour and a bit. And I still need to, like, get through these before people go to bed. Yeah, I heard that they were good. And here we go. Tails got a little less smart as time went on. I'll leave that up to you guys. Do you think that's true? I mean, I've always seen Tails has always still been intelligent, but the way they write him at the moment is apparently, despite all these gadgets and gizmos that he makes, he always has to rely on Sonic. We know Tails is capable. We know he is. We've literally seen it. JBenz6 says, Metal Sonic has to be the single most overrated Sonic character in the series. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Maybe. I know Metal is obviously getting a lot of love, especially lately because of, you know, the 4th movie coming up. It depends on how you see it. Security Hall from Sonic Adventure 2 is the worst Sonic level to ever be produced. It's not one of my favourites, but I think you would have, if we're going to be talking exclusively, like, or if we're going to be talking, I don't know, words. I'd argue Mad Space is worse. I don't like or love Security Hall because it's a treasure hunting stage. I don't like it. But I don't know, man. So right. And then finally, Shadow the Hedgehog going to Radical Highway 5 or so times in Shadow Gens was not a bad thing. I'll be honest, they did use it a lot. Not only did he go in stages that weren't Radical Highway, he went back to Radical Highway. Radical Highway to Shadow is what Green Hill is to Sonic, which makes sense. But you know how we talked about earlier, Green Hill is a constantly reused levels, like design, whatever. Radical Highway is that for Shadow. Like, it's like I was playing through Shadow Gens again recently. I was like, oh look, we're back here. We're back at Radical Highway. Oh, yeah, it is. Radical Highway, yeah, definitely. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Radical Highway is good. I like Radical Highway. But it is overused. It was overused. Plants vs. Zombies, Mario, Sonic Fan 8. Sorry. I just got a migraine. Says, 1. Sonic 3 OST prototype is better than Buxer. Okay. Sonic CD boss themes, US over Japan. Oh, that is a hot take. A lot of people say Japan, the Japanese ports actually have better soundtrack than. I'm not just going to say US, Western counterpart. That's kind of common, so that is a bit of a hot take, to be fair. And third, Sonic Unleashed. That dang Werehog battle theme overshadows too much of the night music. Yes, it does. And listen, I like the Werehog battle theme a lot. I do. But I don't want to be hearing it every 2 minutes. Like, chill out. But luckily, Recompiled fixes that. It does, because you can turn it off. I'd say if you've never played Unleashed and your first experience with Unleashed is Recompiled, what I'd recommend is play the first night stage with the Werehog battle theme on. Just so you can say you've heard it. But then I'd say, after that, turn it off. You are going to be hearing it a lot if you leave it on. And trust me, it ain't a bad song. It's a good song. But the fact that you hear aggressive jazz literally every 2 minutes, because, you know, you fight that many enemies on the Werehog stages, it does get to the point where that theme is ingrained in your head. And all you hear are those first opening notes in your sleep. Just saying. Yeah, that's fair. Finn J. Cannon says... I'll put read more because there's more to it. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood is a severely overhated game. From memory, it weren't great. Look, if you like it, that's fine. I ain't gonna hold that against you, sorry. Sonic Colors DS is better than regular Sonic Colors. We technically already had that. And yep, another Sonic Forces one. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not repeating myself with Sonic Forces. We've already discussed this like 3-4 times. I appreciate the comments, but overhated. I'll just keep saying the same thing. Forces ain't a bad game. It's just really forgettable. I don't know how many more in here there are with Forces in it. But thank you anyway. Thank you for submitting that. Pose Fever, I'm not reading the number. No. I am not reading out that number. We're not doing it. Please do this one. When it comes to different species and geography in the series, I believe there are Mobians, humans, regular animals, yeah, critters like flickies and stuff, Chow, Wisp, and Coco, and probably even more. My headcanon is that Sonic's Earth is pretty much the same as ours, just with extra locations and renames of real places. Yeah, so Mykonos is like Aptos and, you know, the likes of. Is this not already like established? I could have sworn I read somewhere that basically Sonic's world is a different version of ours, and that the likes of like Aptos are like, oh, I think someone's just subscribed. I heard my thing go off. I don't know. But I didn't see the alert. I'll be honest, I don't think this is a hot take, because I think this is genuinely like kind of already been like established, does it not? Yeah, that's what I mean, Mrs. Boomer. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think that's kind of already like basically been said. Like, yeah. I mean, I think you've just given me like a fact. Thank you anyway, though. Oh, we got Barry's next. So you say Sonic Racing Cross Worlds takes place in about as casual of a setting as you could possibly get a game about. In that setting, most characters can thrive and really flex their personalities with each other. Silver getting excited to go fishing with Big, Storm having a crush on Amy, Omega having absolutely zero chill, yes, and Vector being down bad for gee. Oh my days. I mean, I know he is, but it's just a phrasing. It's hilarious. The charming interactions that make me appreciate these characters far more than I ever could without the comics. It's a bit of a long comment, Barry, so if it's okay, I'll just like sort of paraphrase it and just get a general gist of what you're saying. In that setting, there's one character that sticks out like a sore thumb, which leads me to my actual take. Oh, okay. Shadow the Hedgehog is super boring. Frustrating character nowadays, at least in the games. Be says he's going to paraphrase it. I'm now reading the whole thing. In Crossworlds, all Shadow ever has to talk about is how cool and powerful he is, and that his opponent better not be a waste of time. Edgy and angry is all Shadow knows how to be these days. I also hate how he talks to Sonic as well. I don't think they should be all lovey-dovey with each other, but Shadow really does come across that he outright hates Sonic. When even in Adventure 2, that wasn't the case. Sure, it was part of Shadow's mission to kill Sonic at first, but he ended up holding Sonic in the highest respect by the end. In 06, they were able to roast and tease each other from time to time, but they still worked together super well, even able to wordlessly communicate in the scene right before Shadow's fight with Silver. And you know what? There is a problem exclusive to the game. Sonic Prime has one of the best versions of Shadow we've seen in years. He was angry with Sonic at first, but quickly learned that it was both of their best interests to work together. And when they worked together, they worked really well together. The banter between them was top notch. Even the movies got this right. After the scene where they talk about when they talk it out on the moon. Yeah, love that scene. Brilliant scene. Shadow is actually able to loosen up a bit. Shadow has more personality in the line, "Don't tell me you have a catchphrase," than Game Shadow has in the entire series. Now, I kind of agree. I think Shadow and Sonic's rivalry, to me, should be that, yeah, they want to constantly compete. And we know at times they've worked together when there's a bigger threat and stuff. And I love that. But Shadow being very angry and edgy, it's nothing new. Does it make sense for him to be like that? I know it's technically part of his character to some degree. I mean, it wasn't when he first was introduced in Sonic Adventure 2. He was this cocky, badass guy who just happened to have a very traumatic past, which I think worked fine. Yeah, I prefer it when they have the banter, when they have the interactions, like we saw in the third Sonic movie. I prefer all that. You know, whenever Shadow comes across as outright hating Sonic, I don't believe it. I'm like, yeah, 20 years ago, maybe this kind of outlook on him might have made sense, but right now, nah, I don't think so. Yeah. Shadow just needs, I think, yeah, like Skater said, Shadow just needs to make sure that they have a bit more personality, and as well, just it's like X-Man's just basically said, Shadow's character just needs a consistent direction. A consistent direction would be nice. But yeah, I mean, mentioning the scene in Sonic 3 is it hits the nail on the head. You do see those interactions with the movies, games, whatever. You do see that, and I think that's when Shadow's at his best, in my opinion. Noid Weirdo says, what a name. Probably not a hot take, but Sonic Advance 3 is an underrated gem. I adore that game despite its flaws. Sonic Advance 2, however, is a mess of a video game. I don't think I think I might have played the first one. I don't think I've played 2 or 3. So I can't really weigh in on that. Chat, you let me know. Are they cooking or are they Are they correct about that? Okay, right, next one. Lord Hagra 91 says, Cubot and Orbot are quite possibly the worst characters ever introduced to the series. I'm not the biggest fan of them, I'll be honest with you. I'm not. Their dynamic is funny sometimes. It can be. But then at other times, I do find them really irritating. And I think I find them more irritating more often than I do entertaining. I think Sonic, how they are in like colours and stuff, is a fine example of that. They just pissed me off in colours. I don't know why. They just did. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them. They just really annoys me. I think it just all depends on how you view them, I guess. 2, classic Sonic should never have been brought back. Right, I have an opinion about this. For Generations, it made sense, but my God, did they go for a period where they milked the ever-living hell out of classic Sonic? Like, one of the selling points of Forces was, oh, classic Sonic's back. Don't really make sense why he's in the game, but he's in the game. So, yeah, buy the game, please. I'm like... And then, literally, in the same year, they released Sonic Mania. Although Sonic Mania is actually really, really good. But the point is that they were on this, like, massive, like, hype train of classic Sonic. Not that I dislike classic... I like classic Sonic. But, it just felt... Classic Sonic sometimes has been put in things since Generations just because. Like, that's how it feels to me. But that's just how I feel. Every game released after Sonic and the Black Knight should be declared non-canon and ignored in future installments. They have been incredibly damaging from a story perspective, characters not liking themselves, the Chao being descended from aliens among other things. The series would be immeasurably better off without them. I don't know, because... Nah, for me, I don't... Declared non-canon, but then how do you go about continuing certain storylines into other games and making sure that the games are still very much aware of past experiences and stuff like that? Because if you all of a sudden made the games non-canon, any references in future games to, I don't know, for example, Sonic Unleashed, would kind of be like made redundant. And everybody loves a good callback. Everybody loves a good callback. As long as they're not done in a way where it's like painfully obvious that they're only doing it just to say, hi, we remember this game. I don't know. Right. The Baseballs. I said your name wrong earlier. I apologise. You say, I don't like it when people say, but the soundtrack is good to defend bad Sonic games. I'll do you one better. On top of that, you know what else you can throw in there? And this is me in agreement. What you can throw in there is you could throw in when people also say, but the game had potential. I see that all the time. Listen, right, just to go back to your original point. A Sonic game can have a great soundtrack, but the game itself can still be bad. Do you know? And the same can be said for any game. Any game, any bit of media can have a great soundtrack, but be terrible. It can. We've seen it before with like plenty of things. It's like, okay, this is completely left field. I'm a Star Wars fan. I hate the sequel trilogy with everything in me. But there is no denying that the soundtrack done, like created by John Williams, is still phenomenal. I don't like the movies, but I love the soundtrack. So, yeah, you can say, oh, well, the soundtrack's great, but, actually, this was wrong with it, and that was wrong with it. And listen, I know opinions like you know what. I get that. But a great soundtrack doesn't save stuff. So, I agree. Oh, what's Nightbot doing? Is Nightbot kicking up a fuss? Don't worry, I'll give Nightbot a slap later. I'm gonna have some words with Nightbot. Oh, calm it down. But thank you for your take. We should ban Nightbot. Don't worry, I'll have a talk with Nightbot when I end stream. Oh, it's X-Man, it's yours next. Sonic and the Secret Rings is a top 5 OST. It's an absolute banger. I know people hate Seven Rings in Hand due to it being overplayed, which is fair. But the Rumblebee carries the OST, gets more somber and real as you go on. It's awesome soundtrack, highly underrated in my opinion. Attack me all you want, but Secret Rings OST is better than Sonic Adventure 2. X-Man, I like the soundtrack in Secret Rings. Yeah, okay, like some of the songs in it are repetitive. I get that. But it's like my problem with Secret Rings has never been the setting, it's never been the soundtrack, it's always been just mainly the gameplay. Like, even the story, I don't think the story in Secret Rings is all that bad. It's just the gameplay, really. But the soundtracks, yeah, great. I don't know if it's in my top 5, and I don't know if I'd put it over SA. No, who am I wouldn't put it over SA2. But I do like the Secret Rings soundtrack. It is a very good soundtrack. I do agree. Thank you so much for that one. Vampire A1056 says, Sonic Adventure is the most overrated Sonic game. I suppose you can have a case for that. Like, by the way, guys, calling something overrated doesn't mean it's bad. Like, you can say a game is, like, very good, but you say, it's a bit overrated. You can have a case for that, and as well, you can have a case for Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, I think it all depends on which ones you like and which ones you don't. Obviously, I like Sonic Adventure 1 a lot. I do. But I can understand why people might think so. Mr. Boomer, we're calling all the Sonic games overrated. We're calling all of them overrated. Trust me, a lot of these Sonic games are catching strays. A lot of them are. Hot take number 2 by Vampire. Sonic Superstars is better than Sonic 1 and CD. Oh my god. Okay, hear me out. You might have a case for 1. CD, I'm not sure about. I don't agree with that, though. I prefer Sonic 1 over Superstars. But a lot of people don't hold Sonic 1 to a high regard anymore. So, is that really too uncommon to say? I'm not quite sure. And then he finishes it off with Shadow the Hedgehog is actually a great game. I'm done. Don't talk to me, I'm angry. I'm joking, you can have that opinion. I don't like Shadow the Hedgehog. Obviously, that's well established. That's a well established thing. The next Souls movie is going to be mixed. Yeah, probably. CDs, no. I don't know. I like CD a lot. I ain't completed it yet, but I like CD a lot. I like CD a lot, and I will complete it. And when I do complete it, guys, I'll probably make a video on it. CD is a fun game. I do like it. Don't worry, these takes are not me saying it. I'm not. Right, and then we've got Hypersonic, another regular to the channel. I think that Sonic 1 and CD are better games compared to Sonic 2. Again, kind of like what we've just kind of touched on. Sonic 1 is not really held to that high regard, so that is kind of a hot take, to be honest. I don't really see that many people defending Sonic 1 anywhere near as much of games like Sonic 2 and Sonic CD and stuff. Is CD better than Sonic 2? I've yet to form my final opinion of that. So I can't tell you if it is or not. But I do like CD a lot. I do. CD's good. I hate both 1 and CD. Like, jeez. Oh, by the way, guys, loving the interaction on tonight's stream. This is going a lot better than I thought I ever would. I always have that anxiety that I might stream at a time when nobody can. I picked today because I should have been at work today. But with it being Easter Sunday, where I work is shut. Oh, we're skipping that one. Skipping that one. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. I'm not even going to show it. Stop! No, go up. Up, up, up. I apologise if your retinas have been burned by that one. Parzival Bow says, Shadow should have stayed dead. Okay, hear me out. Listen, the only reason why it was retconned into Shadow surviving is because he was that popular. Otherwise, he would have stayed dead. So, I mean, look, at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, I think he had the perfect send-off. I would not have been mad if that was his one and only mainline appearance. At the same time, however, I'm glad we still have Shadow. I am. I'm glad we still have him. But I do think if they were to give him a send-off, his send-off at the end of Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the best way to do it. Yes, I mean, I've already covered yours, but don't worry, I have covered it. It's good to see you here, though. I have covered it, though. Like I say, compressed version of the VOD is going to be uploaded. I'm going to get around to editing that. I am going to try and get that out for next week. Yeah, the full VOD will be available for you to watch anytime you want. Yeah. Oh, here we go. You guys are going to love this one. You guys are going to love this. 2. SA2 is mid! If only 1/3 of the gameplay is actually fun, the remaining 2/3 is a slog at best, that's not a good game. Listen. I adore Sonic Adventure 2, and you guys are going to hate me. It is like my second favourite. However, I can point out the flaws. I agree. The mech stages ain't great, and the treasure hunting stages, I'd rather wipe my behind with sandpaper. But I think the speed stages do enough for me to get my enjoyment out of it. And I do like the story of Adventure 2 as well. I do like that. Honestly, I do. And the third is it Gamil or Jamil? I can't remember. Is the most underutilized character currently active in the series, and he needs a major game appearance more than Silver does. Honestly, I think Silver. If I remember to go get one, Silver will get it first. Why? Because it's Silver. Like, that's why. But thank you for your hot takes, man. Hopefully not too late, but only 3. My hot takes: Sonic Generations is mid. How dare you? No, I'm joking. You can have that opinion. Yeah, Blue Shoes is saying this, by the way. The 2010s did more to ruin Sonic's reputation than the 2000s did. Again, as I've kind of already established now, I don't agree with that. I think Sonic's reputation was already in a very, very bad place in the 2010s, whereas in the 2000s it was only just sort of on a narrow decline, and then Sega decided to take the franchise and nosedive off a cliff. Explosions and everything, like one of them dramatic car crash scenes in like a show, with the release of Sonic 06. Just saying. Yeah, I have trouble. Like when it comes to names like with G's, I'm like, is it good or is it jerk? Because the English language is complex. Not just the English language. Language in general is complex. But yeah, I think the 2000s did more to ruin it. It's just the 2010s kind of helped fast track it a little bit further, in my opinion. But then we got to the 2020s, so. And then third, Sonic Heroes is only difficult for people who are bad at video games. Not a Sonic channel. Is this your burner account? Is this your burner account? It's got to... No, I know it's not. But that very much sounds like... I'm pretty sure he's, like, not word for word, but he said, like, something similar before. But no, thank you for your text. I wouldn't say Sonic Heroes is only difficult for people who are bad at video games. I do personally think that it's not necessarily bad at video games. I find Heroes is easy to learn but very difficult to master because of the swapping mechanic and stuff, and the various ways you can speedrun stages and stuff like that. It does have a skill ceiling, but I do think it's relatively easy to pick up. Like, I've not... until I started playing Heroes again, I'd not touched the game for almost 20 years. And I picked it up easily. And I was able to pick it up and play it again. But to say I'm as good as I used to be at the game, no. I'm not. I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be at the game because it's been a very long time. But yeah. Thank you for your takes there. Sam J says, I actually like Shadow of... Oh, well, no, okay, before I start reading this, I know I put a deadline on when hot takes could come in, and I was still receiving them after the deadline. But I'll be honest, guys, there weren't that many after the deadline. So yeah, you'll all get read out. It's all right. It's all right. You'll all get read out. Anyway, back to Sam J. I actually like Shadow of 5. It's a really fun game, and I do find the story interesting. The controls are polished, especially compared to Heroes. Okay. I like the speed it gives you when skating and rail grinding. I like Jason Griffiths as Shadow. I do too! And I like the cinematic opening. The missions aren't that bad. The only stage so far that I've considered bad was Lost Impact Hero mission, where you shoot the artificial chaos. That mission is terrible. One of many. Anyways, the game isn't the best Sonic game, but I would say I had a lot of fun playing the game. A tier. Okay, so you've got another one in here, that's fine. To me, Shadow of 5 took a lot of what Sonic Heroes did, and somehow, they like the triangle jump, for instance. In my opinion, the triangle jump worked fine in Sonic Heroes, so they took the triangle jump again, and were like, yeah, you know that thing that felt really responsive? Yeah, shall we, you want to see something funny? Like, sort of thing. So, I don't know, man. Shadow is unplayable level bad. I wouldn't say it's unplayable, it's just... Look, my biggest gripe with Shadow of 5 is that to get the final story, you have to complete the game like 50 times. Not literally 50 times, but the gist is you have to complete it so many times. It just takes so long. Shadow no high five. Yeah, if it feels polished to you, mate, that's absolutely fine, to be honest. Also, Kelson, if you just joined the stream, welcome to the stream. But I think, I don't know. I didn't like Shadow of 5. Anyway, their next take is, sorry, I lost track of where I am. Also, another take I have is that I prefer the second Sonic movie over the third. The pacing is way better than the first movie. Movie Sonic used to be a good character, but movie 3 makes him another Prime Sonic from Sonic Prime. Also, I prefer the old shading from movie 2 over movie 3. Ah, yeah, because they like made some visual enhancers, if you want to call them that. For some reason, movie Sonic is light blue in movie 3. And Knuckles is light red. I think it's just colour grading more than anything. I think the design hasn't changed that much. I think it's colour grading. However, I will say I love Shadow's lighting, and I think the shades of black look good on him. And I love how Shadow is characterised in movie 3. Oh, you may as well call me Amy the Hedgehog because I'm now getting Shadow confused with Sonic. Sorry, yeah, Amy just catching a stray there. Sorry for these takes, though, and sorry for putting on the wrong post. You don't have to apologise for giving me your takes. Don't even have to apologise for putting on the wrong post. I understand. I get it. You're not the only one who's put it on one of the future ones, which, again, we'll go through them in a sec. Because we are nearly done with these ones. Boy, we've had a lot, haven't we? Okay. The second Sonic movie, I agree with it being better than the first one. I do. I know there's like a big debate if the first one's better or if the second one's better, but, you know, people say that the third one's peak. The third one's peak to me. I think that's everything I wanted a Sonic movie to be in terms of the Paramount movies, and I think they are going to get better. So much so that I went to see it multiple times. God, you know, the cinema staff must have gone like, oh, not that Sonic fan again. Oh, let me guess, you're here to watch Sonic 3. Yeah. And they'll just like look at me like, bruh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, but I'm lining their pockets, so they can't say anything negative. I'd say some grown wings. I'd say I like the third one. The third one's great. Murillo, the third one's really good because admittedly it does play into, and I mean a lot of fan service. Whether you see that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. That's up to you. Yeah, I agree with that. The baseballs, I agree. I think it does go 3-2-1. That's my preferred. I mean, I like them all. Oh, you meant to say third instead of one? Okay. Wait. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I get you now. Yeah. So I just had to take a swig. Yeah, but I get what you mean, but I think it's like a colour grading thing. I think it is a colour grading thing. Shadow's movie design, though. What a design that is. I love it. Oh, we got Barry here again. Oh, thank you for your take as well, Samjay, by the way. Really appreciate it. Right, Barry, I'm only going to read 3 of these out because it's mainly... I'm only going to read the top 3 if that's okay, because the rules were 3 takes per comment, if that's okay. So anyway, I normally really like Jim Carrey in the Sonic movies. I really do. But for multiple reasons, I really don't like the scene in Sonic 3 where Robotnik and Gerald are fighting on the Ark. I think the bug thing is so lame. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. The nanotech these guys are capable of seemingly whatever. Yeah, my God, what am I doing? I think the bug thing is so lame. The nanotech these guys have are capable of seemingly whatever they want, and they use it to act like bugs. How fun. Oh wait, no, this is one take. I'm really sorry about it. This is all one take. It's just got bullet points. Okay, I see it. 2, the choreograph is just really slow and awkward. It's like watching 2 men fighting at the elderly home. Hey, don't diss fights in elderly homes. That's front row seat entertainment right there. 3, I'm normally not one to throw this word around, especially around Sonic, but the dialogue is just super cringy to me. The more times I watch the movie, the more I shrink into my seat a little when Robotnik randomly jokes about Green Lantern from 2011. Or when he literally gets spanked by Gerald. I don't know, the jokes feel more focused than usual, and as well, the fence thing as well. I did find the fence thing amusing, though. Can you blame me for being significantly more interested in the fight between golden hedgehogs than 2 old men acting like bugs? Live and Learn is blaring in the coolest scene you've ever seen, only to be cut off so we can see the aforementioned spanking. Now, I'm not saying... Guys, if you're just joining for context, we're talking about a fight scene here. Now, I'm not saying that Jim Carrey is bad in any of these movies, or that he's ever been bad in Sonic 3. Outside of this small handful of scenes, I think Robotnik and Gerald are great. They bounce off each other so well, and they're constantly making me burst out laughing every time I see them. Heck, even the scene where Robotnik says goodbye is a great send-off, and it generally gets me in the feels every time. It's just when Robotnik, we'll call him Ivo, obviously, because they're technically both Robotnik. It's just when Ivo and Gerald are fighting, when the whole thing falls apart for me. Right. Let's dissect this. So, the bug thing didn't bother me. It's whatever. I mean, I get what you mean. Obviously, they have access to all the things they can have in the world. I mean, literally, Ivo set up a fence because his nanotech misheard him. So that's just proof that he can summon whatever they want. Or that they can summon whatever they want. But yeah, it's a bit... I get your point. Like, they could have easily, I don't know, made a hammer or something, but I think it's just... I think the fight scene's meant to be cheesy. That's the whole point. Going to the choreography, it's like watching 2 men fighting in an elderly home. Again, don't diss that. Now, to be fair, sometimes I'll go into an elderly home and shout bingo and see if they get into a brawl. Anyway, so the choreography, really slow and awkward. I think it's kind of the point. I mean, these 2 aren't exactly known for stepping in a boxing ring. Again, I think it's to add to the humour of it. I think, and as well, let's be honest, Jim Carrey is getting on a bit now. Could you argue, yeah, they could have got stunt doubles in, kind of, and then CGI'd and superimposed his face on him? Maybe. Yeah, aforementioned spanking's a great term, isn't it? They could have done something like that, but I think it's kind of the point. The dialogue, I'll be honest with you, one of my main problems with the Sonic movies is that sometimes the dialogue does feel out of place, whether it's the jokes or it's the overabundance of pop culture references. It does feel a little bit out of place. Again, I know why they're doing it, because these movies are meant to be for the general public, and you know, you can blame the MCU for this. Everybody loves pop culture references and these witty one-liners, and I think that's just kind of what they were going for. And it's like you say about Green Lantern from 2011. Was there any need for it to be in there? Probably not. Were they going to include something like that anyway? Yeah. And yeah, this bit I completely agree with. You go from this amazing fight scene to the whole live and learn scene, and then it just cuts to Gerald spanking Ivo, and I'm just like, what? Why? No, I want live and learn back. Give. I came here to see two hedgehogs fighting. I did not come here for that. Like, I get it. I understand it. But thank you for your take there, Barry. Again, I apologise that I got it mixed up. I thought they were like 4 takes. No, just 1 take with 4 bullet points. So that's fine. Right, we've got 2 more on here, and then we'll go to the other ones, which is not many. This is... I am going to have trouble pronouncing that. Sith Arbaloo? I don't know if I said that right. 4728 says, 1. Sage is the best new character since SA2 for Shadow. I really like her overall unique premise, as well as her relationship with Eggman. Plus, I'm really intrigued on how they're going to use her in the next Sonic game, if she's actually going to become a villain you fight, which really we should have gotten in Frontiers, but hopefully we get something like that. I like Sage a lot, and I like what they did with her in Frontiers. I do, and I agree, I like the relationship, the bond she has with Eggman, the likes of. I agree, I like Sage. Can I see her becoming a villain? I don't know. Unless there's, again, a really, really big threat like there was in Frontiers, where they kind of have to work together. Then maybe? I don't know, but would it make sense for her to become a villain? Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? And then your next one is Forces has the best looking stages, ones like Sunset Heights, Eggman Empire Fortress, Death Egg, especially on the Egg Gate part where you're in space, and the Metropolitan Highway all look gorgeous with so much detail in them compared to the other games. Too bad all that effort for Hedgehog Engine 2 made it so they only had 1 year for the actual gameplay. Visually, I do think Forces has some pretty nice stages. The best? No, I don't think so. I think there's... I think pretty much all stages from Unleashed trump anything that's in Forces. But they are nice looking stages. Like, I would say one thing that I do like about Forces is visually, I think it's quite an appealing game at times. Visually. But I think that's about as far as it goes. So yeah, you've kind of got a point there. I think so. Yeah. Not bad at all. Let's just catch up with chat. Sorry, I've not been ignoring you guys. I've just been wanting to get through this. I have been reading chat. It's just I haven't had a chance to respond. And then your third take, also for a more small one, since no one mentions this category as much as I think. I think Nowhere to Run is the best Avatar song, followed closely by Fading World. I think it does a really good job of matching the vibe of what's going on. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's like I've always said, opinions on Sonic music, I mean, it varies so much. So many people have different opinions on certain things. But thank you for your takes there. And the final one on this post by Not a Tangle Channel. Carnival Night. I was going to say Carnivore Night. Carnival Night, Act 1, original, not prototype. Is that worse than Ice Cap Act 1? I'll let you guys decide that one. Honestly. And then 2, IDW had way better original characters than Archie, besides Scourge. Oh, I forgot Scourge was a thing. God. That's a name I've not heard about in a long time. Wow. I mean, again, I don't really have an opinion on this because I don't really have an opinion on this because I've not really read the Archie comics, and I've only just started reading the IDW comics, so all of the characters that make a debut in IDW, I don't really have an opinion of. It's like Tangle and Whisper. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see them included in Crossworlds, but I don't really have any opinion of them yet. I'm sure I will quite shortly. Carnival Night 1 is fine. Act 2 killed me physically and mentally. Yeah, fair enough. Right, we're going to go on to the next page. Well, I've got a few more here. We've already read that one, top one there. We'll go from bottom to top here. Oh, we've already read that Zavok one. Nat Brick says, Sonic Forces is better than Mania and I will die on that hill. Oh, we're back to Sonic Forces. We're back to Sonic Forces. No, I disagree. I disagree. I much prefer Mania. Mania is just an extremely solid, classic Sonic game. It's extremely solid. That's the one thing I'll give IDW, the OCs an E. I like their designs. I do like their designs. Their designs are really nice. All right, Murillo, Murillo, it's yours up next. You say, I hate the Sonic car games, and this is why. Sonic Riders was always much better, unique, and had insane style. Truly top 5 best racing games of the 7th gen, in my opinion. After the failure of Free Riders, Sega instantly ditched the series after one failure and made a generic Mario Kart game with Sega characters. I don't think it's bad, but we were robbed of something much better, which was a true sequel to Riders Zero Gravity. I haven't played Crossworlds, but the PS3 ones and Team Sonic Racing are so generic in my opinion. The success of the racing games was the last nail in the coffin for the Riders series. They feel very soulless. I'll give Riders one thing, the flair it has. It is very unique, and I see the argument for when people say like, oh, Sonic Racing's kind of just another reskin of Mario Kart. The same way Crash Team Racing, you could say, was another reskin of Mario Kart. But the games do have their own nuances, I think. Like the things that make them stand out, like the gimmick behind Crossworlds being the whole Crossworlds thing. I think that's really cool, and I think that helps Crossworlds stand out. So I really like that, and I think that's why I really like the game as well. And I'm totally not just playing it to justify the price I spent on it. I'm joking. I do like Crossworlds. Yeah, but I'd say, and it was quite a common thing for Sonic back in the 2000s to have this like all this flair and stuff, and you know, Riders was no different to that. I understand why people might prefer it, but at the same time, I don't hear many people praising Riders all that much. And going back to Sega ditching it after one attempt, it's not the first time they've done it. It's not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. But thank you for your take, Murillo. Really appreciate it. We got Robot, spelled R-H-O, bot. 1000 coming in with... Oh, no. Okay, I'm only going to pick 3 of these because... the rule was 3 takes per comment, I'm afraid. So I'm going to look at which ones I want to pick out here. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this top one. Do I want Blaze and Silver to be important characters? Yes, absolutely. But I believe giving them mainstays like Team Sonic, Shadow, and Eggman will ultimately hurt them. They need dedicated focus on them and their world building in order to be written effectively, and I don't think that can or should be implemented on a regular basis, especially together. Let them show more infrequently. When they do, it matters all the more. Well, unless you read the comics, technically Silver and Blaze don't make too many appearances. But I think I think I agree with the point, and I kind of did touch on it earlier. And no, it's fine, Robot. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Like I say, I'll just pick out 3 though. Your comment on Silver, I'd say, and Blaze. Yeah, I mean, I think they need more world building. I do think they do. It's like when it's like I said earlier in the stream. You know, so many people are quick to jump the gun and say we need Silver Generations or maybe Blaze Generations as like a package similar to what we got with Sonic X Shadow Generations. But I feel like they need more content there before that can even be possible. And unfortunately, that does mean more appearances. Sporadic appearances, maybe, but more appearances nevertheless. Anyway, that one I kind of softly agree on. I'll read this one out because this one's interesting. Prime's characterization of Sonic isn't that bad. It just needed a reason to exist, if you understand what I mean. On the topic of Prime, if it was supposed to be around post Advance 3, then Cream should have been featured. I think a lot of what people's problems are with Prime's characterization, I don't think it's necessarily the characterization itself. I think it's probably more the direction the show goes. Like, people say, like for instance, I forget the guy's name, and I feel really bad for it, but the guy who voices him in Prime, they say he's not a bad Sonic, it's just the way they go with him. And I think that's what it is. So, I don't know. And then the last one I'm going to pick out for you is early boost formula games such as Unleashed, Colors, and Gens aren't fun. I somehow preferred Werehog and Classic more than the main stages. Frontiers is fine outside cyberspace, and Shadow Gens was the formula done right. I'm Unleashed's biggest defender. Hello, nice to meet you. I love Sonic Unleashed, and I think Unleashed still to this day, in my opinion, has the best boost formula that we've seen because of the genuine sense of speed that you get. Gens I love. I enjoy Colors. Colors is not my favourite. Devon Mack, that's it, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't remember. I somehow, and then you say you somehow preferred Werehog and Classic. Listen, I like the Werehog, but I do find myself replaying the day stages more in Unleashed than I ever do the Werehog stages. Yeah, that's what I keep seeing people say. But yeah, Robot, thank you for your hot take. Really hot takes, even. I really appreciate it. Eon Super Vincent 6122 says Mephiles should return as the benefactor of Infinite that gave him the lenses. I would genuinely love to see Mephiles return in some capacity, and I'm not counting technically Shadow Gens because there was a good enough reason for him to return in that. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen in some way, whether that is in the games or in the movies or whatever. I think it would be great, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sega are a bit reluctant at the moment, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens, I guess. But thank you for your take. Samuel Pounds 1475 says, hot take number 1, Sonic Frontiers should have been a silver game. Well, it wouldn't be Sonic Frontiers then. No, I'm joking. So what you're basically saying is it shouldn't have been Sonic Frontiers. Instead, you think we should have got a silver game. Now, like I've already said, silver just needs a bit more content in the games, I think, before that anything like that can happen. And then your second hot take is, I don't want a Sonic X Silver Unleashed. Can anyone see them doing that? I don't know if I can. We'll just have to wait and see. Right, okay, let me ask this. How would, because we're assuming it's Unleashed, right? How would that really make sense for Silver to be in an Unleashed game? Oh no, maybe it would, and maybe I'm just daft. I don't know. I just don't know if it would. But thank you anyway for your hot takes. Cool Edge Day is on par with Generations Rooftop Run. People are going to hate me for this. I don't really like Rooftop Run in Generations. I prefer Unleashed. by far. If you were saying Cool Edge Day is better than Rooftop Run in Unleashed, I'd be like, no. Cool Edge Day is on par with Generations Rooftop Run. No, I'd argue it's better. I just don't know. So I think some of the changes they made to the stages in Generations, I just wasn't a fan of. It's just my opinion. Right, and we've only got a few more, I think. Oh, we got Director Darwin. I know we put these in chat earlier, but we just had to go through all the takes. And he says, last but not least, Sonic 4 isn't Sonic CD. Well, yeah, it's Sonic CD. It's Sonic CD. Right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Rooftop Run is better in Unleashed, but it's still great in Gen. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, but at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And after almost 2.5 hours, we got through all your hot takes. Can you see why now this had to be a live stream? Because it definitely needed to be. Oh god, right, I was going to play some games, but I've seen the time, and people will be going to bed soon, so I'm going to call it there, guys. Honestly, I just want to say right now, thank you all, and I mean it, all of you, thank you so much for tuning in. This stream has been a massive success. Like, I did not expect anywhere near as much of the interaction that we got. We averaged around 10 views, which was insane. That was fantastic. You guys are awesome. Nah, probably not today, because it's getting late and people are going to be going to bed. But I'll tell you what I will do is in the next Hot Takes video or stream or whatever it is, we'll go through them then. And again, like I said, I need to figure out which ones I've read and which ones I haven't read. I don't really want to be repeating myself. But we will go ahead with that at some point in the future. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys have plenty of time in advance so you guys can come here. Thank you guys so much. Like, you guys have been incredible. The channel is growing, and I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Robot. Thank you. I'm glad to see you here. Really, really, really appreciate all the support, all the love and support you guys have given me. And with that, I will bid you adieu. I will bid you farewell. And like I say, I would go on for longer, but there's people in my house who need their beauty sleep, and I don't think they're going to appreciate me talking into like this microphone for too much longer. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. And who knows, whether it's going to be a live stream or... yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, thank you guys so much. Each and every one of you are just awesome. I will check out your poll, Joshua, yes. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, adios, and take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye!